Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with us, first I have the director and also have the star of the movie. So first, let's shoot the director. I have over with us Sean King. Sean, welcome to the Horror Room.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to meet you. And also, we also have Glenn McBride Jr. He is the star. Glenn, welcome to the Horror Room.
Thank you, man. Pleasure to be here, man. Excited.
And they have a new movie that's on the film festival circuit right now. It's called SCREAMWALKERs. All right, so Glenn, I'm going to shoot to you first. Tell us a little bit about SCREAMWALKERs.
SCREAMWALKERs is like a homage to like Wes Craven's Scream and Stephen King's Sleepwalkers put together. It's shot on VHS. It's really good. So if you're a horror fan, that's like a big fan of those 1980 VHS, straight to B-movie type, this is the movie for you. And it's, it's a pleasure. It's a Scream. It's a Screamwalker. So.
So, Sean, what gave you inspiration and the idea for this film?
It was one thing. It was this creation right here. This is the copycat killer mask that my partner and friend Will Pentarich came up with, and this was featured in a haunted attraction in Long Island here.
Nice.
At Long Island, New York. That's where we made the movie. That's where this mask was created. And it was just kind of like a scary mask that would pop out of the trail, the haunted trail that you would walk down in the haunted attraction. But he wanted to shoot like a video promo for it, and I said let's make if we have a cool mask, we can make a whole movie based on a cool mask. So it started with this thing, and it was kind of like it was supposed to the movie was supposed to be a commercial for the mask, and then the mask is a commercial for the movie, and so it all started here with this thing. And with any luck, the way things are going, you might see this at the 2025 Halloween season at many of the biggest Halloween retailers. So you might see this thing on the shelves next Halloween, next year, 2025. So started with this, and it was just nice. Once we said we're making a movie that's going to be based on a mask. Yeah, because it was always like how many damn Halloween sequels you watch and you're just like, this sucks. How many Friday the 13th a little better. It works a little bit better, with varying opinions. But you watch it because you love the iconography of the killer. You like the music. You like the vibe of it. But I mean, as thin as it is, you can base a movie just on a mask. That was the exercise. But the movie came out better than we could have planned. So
now it's pretty fucking awesome right now that found footage movies are getting like a resurgence, because I mean, you had the Blair Witch in the late 90s, and then we had a bunch of knockoffs off of that, and then it kind of died. Like, people were done with it, and it's amazing that, especially in the indie horror, that they found footage is getting this brand new rebirth and some great films coming out of it.
Yeah, and not just found footage, but there's also, it's a cheap term to use, and it's an insulting kind of thing, but these kind of novelty horror things. Late Night with the Devil was an example, which was a great example. Yes. And Skinamarink and things like they're kind of like these experimental horror things, because the trend comes back. There's that 20-year trend where found footage came back, and now like a few years ago they tried to bring back pop horror, like what Scream started in the 90s, with like the Goosebumps movies and the R.L. Stine shows, Fear Street and things like that. So sometimes they keep going. The trend, when it comes back, it keeps going, and then sometimes it's a one-off thing, and they're like, we're not ready for that to come back yet. But but it's cool how the filmmakers reinvent the subgenre, refresh it, kind of like rebrand it, and experiment with it and makes it feel fresh again.
Now, is it hard? I mean, as a horror filmmaker, just working on hard. Is it hard to come up with, or risky to come up with a new idea or something that's never been done? Because I can't think of anything. I think it's called The Violence of Nature. It's that new horror movie that's out now, and it's getting a lot of shit from horror fans. But like, it's trying something completely different now.
Right. Well, you know what? Most horror movies get a lot of shit, but we watch them all. You know.
Yes.
They're gonna make money. You know. Mm-hmm. So it's like yeah, we could be a bunch of pissy motherfuckers all the time, and like, you know, oh, this is just like that thing, or this is just a ripoff of that, but you're gonna still pay money to see it.
Exactly.
So, but but that's a good example. In A Violent Nature, it's like, yeah, you're taking a standard stalk and slash flick, a Jason flick, or, you know, a Friday the 13th or Halloween, but all they did was put it in a different perspective. Mm-hmm. You're behind the character or something like that. Or I remember the 2012 Maniac remake with Elijah Wood. I think it was 2012.
Yes.
That was all POV. Mm-hmm. So and then you know, audiences were like, it's a cool flick, but we don't want every movie to be a POV, right. Fully POV, or maybe we don't want every movie to be from behind the killer's perspective or something.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool to see people put the camera in a different place, or, you know, from a different perspective, to kind of reinvigorate the old slasher, which these are old tried and true slashers with all the same ingredients, but, you know, giving it that different perspective could start a new subgenre. Who knows?
Definitely hope so. Definitely hope so, because I mean, you know, I feel like horror needs that. Listen, horror is amazing right now, but horror definitely needs that injection or those new eyes or those new ideas and put it into it to give, you know, this generation its own Scream, for instance.
Right. Yeah. We when we made SCREAMWALKERS, we didn't have much money at all. We raised the funds on Indiegogo, and we made about $7,500, which wasn't far off from what we needed to do it. And we had an amazing crew of friends and family that came and helped, but there wasn't a budget to have like a camera crew, and there wasn't time to shoot where I could change lenses. I shot the movie, and I'm a DP as my day job, but I'm in a studio, and we have assistant camera people, we have gaffers and grips, and we have time to change the lenses and dial in the T-stops and all this stuff. But we didn't have that luxury on this movie, so they started months before shooting the movie. We started experimenting with shooting it on a camcorder, a 30-year-old camcorder.
Wow! So
it totally worked out that way. That's how I came up, starting on home video, finding the video camera in my mom's closet. And I remember just how much fun it was turning the camera on.
Yeah, me too. Did that.
Getting your friends. Yeah, Glenn came up that way too.
Yeah.
There's videos of you walking around your house with a gun and stuff. It's like, yeah, and that's how so many filmmakers start. They you know, they reenact their favorite scenes from their favorite movies and stuff. So it was so much fun back then, just picking up the camera and
just going.
Just go. Yeah, just go. Get your friends together.
Have a blast.
It's so much fun, and I kept making movies over the years, and I tried to make them as technically, you know, perfect as possible. And I spent a lot of money hiring DPs and, you know, getting a crew there and making it kind of like quality control standard, you know. And it just wasn't. It stopped being fun because you're just sidelined by all of this production bullshit.
Yeah.
So it was so freeing to just put the
go.
Yeah, turn the camcorder on. Not even have a shot list or anything, just going by the script, changing shit as we went, putting 3 lights up, you know, put batteries on lights, flipping them around.
Go for it.
Yeah, and just go. And it was so freeing and so much fun. It's going to be hard to go back to the real way of making movies, you know?
Because I feel like the real way of making movies fucks with the creativity. I mean, it can fuck with the creativity.
It can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you're just stressing about, especially if you're a real indie producer. And Glenn here is an indie producer, director, writer as well. And it's like, and you could probably, this struggle too. It's like, if you don't have the money, you don't have the crew.
Right.
You have to plan the whole day.
You have to plan.
You have to make the schedule,
shot list.
You make you break everything down, and then you got to worry about wardrobe, and then you got to worry about transportation. Who's coming?
Right.
Who's coming in what train? And then you have to worry about where the bathroom is,
continuity, and
like how these people are going to eat.
Right.
And then that just eats away at the creative. The creative nucleus you're already starting with. It just kind of chips away at it. Yeah. So taking away as many of those kind of burdens
helped it a lot.
Yeah, as possible, just really opens you up to and also just shooting it on a lo-fi method takes a lot of the pressure off of like trying to make it look perfect.
Super perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really freeing, and I'll suggest it to any filmmaker who's been doing it for a while. Just pick up the camcorder and just go for it. Yeah, like
just have fun.
Because if you have a cast like we had in SCREAMWALKERS, which is
so much fun,
phenomenal, and a dedicated crew or friends helping you out, like who gives a shit about what it looks like? Especially if you're leaning into how shitty it could look, or cool and grimy and gnarly as it could look, but get good sound. Like you might have something there, and also you can just you're free to do to not worry about that. That's not a burden anymore.
Right.
Now you can focus on getting those performances you need and telling the story.
Right. Now, Glenn, by being you're an actor as well as a filmmaker, and do you think it helps you as a filmmaker being able to work on the other side of the camera and vice versa?
Yeah, I think it was so much fun working as an actor on somebody else's project is I get to really stretch, my talent, because I didn't write it for me. I'm saying it's not in my voice. I'm saying it's another writer's voice. So I just get to learn how to, act better on somebody's set. I get to learn as a director to watch another director, as well, which is great. I watched Sean, just going through the obstacles of how to get it done and everything. And he was always cool, level-headed, We had some tough days. I think the day one, when I had to work with you, we had to move to another location because something was going on. Something happened with construction. We had to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah. There's always that, yeah. You're stuck into a cemetery.
Right.
So,
but Sean's always creative and cool and stuff like that. And, me as a director, so we're always in our head. We think about the shooting days, the time and stuff like that. And sometimes that can mess up, your creative talent and stuff like that. You worry about the technical stuff. But Sean just has a nice balance of just working with the creative stuff, but also letting us be free at the same time as actors, but still doing the story. So I got to learn a lot working with him as an actor and just learn how to be a better director, working with him. So it was fun. I got to learn both sides, and he really let me go. I mean, if I had a suggestion as an actor, it would be something small and stuff like that. But, he let me do my own stunts. So that was fun. I got that was
there was
good.
no other.
There was no other way.
There's no option.
So you just pull out the air mattress.
All right,
Glenn,
do it. He swings at you. You block. You do this, and you'll go.
Well, it's like, are you okay with this? Can you do this? And then we look around.
Let's hope for the best.
It's in the script. It's in the script. You got to do it.
So it was just fun. It brought me back, like he said. It brought me back when I had my camcorder with my brother and stuff like that. We was doing our own shows, Power Rangers. I had the show called Lightning Squad, and we would just go for it. You know what I'm saying? And we just went for it. We had a good time. And when I saw the finished product, I was like, oh wow, we really delivered. So people are gonna be really surprised with this. I really enjoy it.
And that vibe of like, just pick up the camera and do it, and don't worry about don't worry if it's Netflix approved or some shit.
Right.
Just getting that out of your head frees you up to just be creative, and I think you can probably attest to this and the other actors. It's like when there's all that time to be creative and talk about what you're gonna do and how you feel in this scene, and there's not 30 crew people around.
Right.
It's like now you're in the sphere, in the pocket. Like you say.
Yes, the pocket. You're not looking at like a 10 person crew and stuff like that, all waiting for when they tired and stuff like that. And like, come on, let's go. We had a lot of time to do creative stuff and just kind of just go for it. You know what I'm saying? So from the fight scenes and everything, and just even the emotion acting stuff like that. You know, like I had a scene that we shot, and Sean would just throw me a small nugget, and I was like, oh, okay, and it worked. You know what I'm saying? But we had that creativity because it wasn't a bunch of people around. It was just me, him, and just a sound guy. We were able to kind of communicate and go for it. So
some days it was just you and I, or just you, me, and somebody else.
Yeah.
And so we put a lav mic on Glenn. I'll run by and
just roll it.
Just go.
Fuck it. You know, like
stand here, do this.
Which is just a little bit more complicated than we did when we were like 13 or something. You know, it's just
so fun.
Just to get a little bit more back to that was just such a nice.
It was a nice break.
Yeah, it was a nice feeling.
Yeah. Now I've had a chance of being on 2 indie horror film sets, and I was like, and seeing the the inner workings and the behind the scenes. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is fucking stressful. I can imagine being a filmmaker. As an indie horror filmmaker or indie filmmaker, I mean, do you feel like you got to be a little bit of a stress junkie or adrenaline junkie or a problem solver junkie or something?
Oh yeah.
Personally, I'm a chaos junkie, so
okay.
Because that's the way I'm forced to be creative, is to just not have a good idea of what I'm going to do. And it sharpens all of your internal tools on how to do this. And I don't know about Glenn, but when I was like 12 or 13, I felt like there was nobody better than me. Maybe Sam Raimi was better than me, but when I was making my own movies, I was like, I got this. I completely know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And so just to kind of challenge yourself like that again, by throwing yourself into a situation. Yeah, I think that's probably, there's like an adrenaline thing to it, sure, but it's also just like, I love to entertain, and I love to entertain myself.
Right.
So, it was just a challenge to be like, all right, Sean, like, what are you going to do today? And not have a shot list, and just have the pages and just figure it out. Even if we're in a weird location where we only have a limited amount of time, it just gives you that kind of spark of that you used to just rely on all the time before you had months to prepare and make a shot list and shit.
And I'll do that. Like, I'll super prepare.
Yeah, you're the other way. Yeah,
I have to be super prepared. I know something's gonna go wrong. It happens in indie films. Something's gonna go wrong. It's always the easiest scene that's supposed to be the easiest scene. It's the worst scene to shoot. For some reason, it goes wrong. So the more I'm prepared, when something does go wrong, I'm good. But if I'm not prepared and something goes wrong, my brain is just like, my brain already knows I'm not prepared.
You don't like the chaos?
No, I need to. No, I like the chaos, but as long as I'm prepared, you know what I'm saying. Like, okay, get your wide, get your medium, get your closer. You know what I'm saying. But certain blocking and stuff like that, you have to figure out, and that could be crazy.
Yeah, that could get really technical and shit. And that's when you get kind of like you said, you're like, wow, this is complicated.
It gets complicated.
Yeah. But it all depends on like what the project demands,
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Because I mean, I agree with you guys. Like, and I've talked to a lot of filmmakers. Something always goes wrong, like during a project. And your leading actress doesn't show up, something, and like you got to be able to fucking roll with the shit.
Yeah.
But that's like that's where the absolute purest form of creativity comes from.
Yeah,
is that problem solving?
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of filmmakers, directors who started in indies,
right?
And then kind of when they had money, you start to see a little less spark. I hate to say this, I love Robert Rodriguez, but like his first 3 movies are just like unbelievable.
Yeah.
His first 4 movies are just like pure friggin', indie perfection.
Yeah.
And it's like, and there's a real voice and a real talent there. But then when he gets a budget, it's kind of like, oh, those problems are so easy to solve now.
Right. And you got the studio involved now. You got all these different hands involved.
You got other voices.
You can't, they're like, no, you shouldn't do that. Blah, blah, blah. What about this? And then, what about marketing? If you do this, it's going to ruin the marketing. So now you have all these studio execs and stuff like that in your ear. And then, the person you used to be is slowly dying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because you have other voices and you have other people's money.
Yeah, it's not your money. It's the house's money. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Not to use your own. Not just you should use your own money, but you know,
but if you're gonna use your own money, then use it. But
yeah, and make sure it's your
money.
It's your way of doing it.
Exactly.
If it's your money,
Exactly.
Because I feel like I say this all the time. Like, and most people are like, "Really? You think so?" I say when it comes to horror fans, right? I say that only 30% of horror fans are hardcore horror fans. So they watch the indies, they watch all the other 70% are casual horror fans. So those are the ones who know about Halloween. They go to see a movie in the movie theater. They are the one
every movie, right?
Yes, they go to every horror movie,
right.
Big name horror movie, but they don't support. They don't know everything about horror. They don't go to horror conventions. They don't do that. That's only 30. That's only a small percentage of horror fans. And unfortunately, when I see big budget movies, they definitely promote to that 70%. And that's why you keep seeing the same old thing over and over again. Yeah. And that's why I love indie horror so much.
Yeah, I think you see that. And I was looking at a discussion you had with another filmmaker around here. And I mean, when, like, just like we were talking about before, when there's money on the line, when there's people's jobs, executives' jobs on the line, they're gonna play it safe, and they're gonna do the market research, and they're gonna go to look at past success and kind of duplicate that and shit. And look, some amazing things come from that. You know, some amazing studio horror movies come from that. The Omen, or you know, The Exorcist. Well, I mean, that was a different era, but like even Scream or. I'm going to struggle to name any new.
They're there. I mean, Barbarian was great.
Universal movie like Get Out and even all feel stuff. Nope and stuff. Like those took chances. Like sometimes a real artist shines through, but yeah, I mean it's homogenized. Just like I think every genre is like that now, except for indies, like you said. Because all of they're all tech companies now. Right. They all have CEOs coming from the tech companies who used to be CEOs of, defense contractors.
And that lovers of film.
Or fucking, they have CEOs coming from completely different sectors.
Exactly.
Where there was no creative going on. And so they're just accountants. Figuring out the safest bet.
The numbers, just adding up the numbers. Okay, this adds up, then we do another one. If it don't, then
And that started in the '80s when Coca-Cola bought United Artists or whatever. There, they were just like, all right, now they're just all accountants at the top, and they have shareholder meetings, and they're saying, why are we doing something new when Fast X made this amount of money?
Or like the Batman franchise, and they do like the toys and stuff like that. We make a lot of toys. We're going to keep doing these PG superhero movies because the toys and stuff like that.
Remember Batman Returns? They changed the.
They changed it.
They didn't like the Penguins black vial coming up.
No.
And they were like, you can't do it because McDonald's
toys.
said no. Like, what the fuck?
So now that comes in.
And indies are always the fertile ground for all that creative stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Because I call it the Blumhouse effect. And Blumhouse used to be a good production company when it came to horror.
Yeah.
But now you see Blumhouse, they just shoot movies out there and they're low budget. And I would say maybe 3 out of 10 of them are actually decent. Mm. But they know that the casual fan is going to, they make them cheaply and they know the casual fan is going to go see them and they're going to make a profit off of each one. Exactly. So that's when you see stuff like the Swim movie and shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah. They do a haunted teddy bear flick.
Yeah.
And they'll see more Megans and stuff. And exactly. But and it's weird how these production companies have become brands on their own too. Where it used to be, it's a Universal movie or it's a Paramount film or something like that. But we didn't go to see the Paramount movie when we were younger.
We see a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to see the Stallone flick or the new or Nightmare on Elm Street flick. But now you go see a Blumhouse movie.
Or
you go see an A24 movie.
You know what you're getting. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they become such brands. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird. But then that's the trap, isn't it? Like
It is.
it's like I think A24 has been able to kind of like survive as like a creative brand like that, but Blumhouse definitely
It's different.
yeah, like I mean the Conjuring movies are great, I think Megan was okay, like yeah, but they start to feel completely homogenized now because I think they're just using the same directors or producers and writers from whatever.
But they put a lot of stinkers out there too, like that Terror movie. Like they put a lot of stinkers. You get 10 movies from Blumhouse a year in the theaters, and only 3 of them are good movies.
Yeah, yeah. But the marketing's good,
yes,
and it makes its money back in the opening weekend, and everybody it doesn't matter after that, you know, and it just fades from our consciousness.
Right. You're like, oh, yeah, that was coming out. Yeah.
Who's gonna remember? Who's gonna be talking about Night Swim in 2 years?
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we might be talking about In a Violent Nature, or we might be talking about Late Night with the Devil, you know, or something like that. But yeah, when they're cranking them out, it's like movie of the week, and that's cool. Like I know a lot of people who love those movies or like them, but it comes to the point where it's like, I mean, we all love the theater experience. I'm assuming, right? Going to the movie theater,
fan of that.
which is probably not going to be a thing. I mean, we said that 10 years ago. You know, it seems like now
it's getting close.
Yeah,
it's real. It's real. It's real right now.
Theater chains are like, you know,
shutting down.
They're shut down. But it comes to the point where it's like, I mean, these are hard times too. So it's like when you have, you know, you're going out with friends.
You want to go to movies.
Yeah, the ticket is $15 or $20.
Oh my God.
You gotta have that popcorn, and then before you know it, it's like, you know, $40 or $50.
We spent.
Yeah, and so it's like you have to be like, all right, do I want to go see, you know, Night Swim, or am I gonna wait
for it on streaming?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait
a month.
Yeah, and then you could build your own damn movie theater in your fucking house.
Yeah.
Buy an 85-inch TV at Walmart for $200 and be like.
Because there's nothing defeating. Like I'm a theater guy. I like watching movies in the theater,
100%.
and especially horror. But there's nothing there's nothing more defeating than watching a bad horror movie compared to any other genre movie. A bad horror movie in the theater. Because a bad horror movie in the theater sucks the fucking soul out of you.
Yeah,
it really does.
It does. And you don't, if it's bad, you don't have that communal experience of everybody being scared together. Right.
Yeah,
that's such a primal feeling that we almost need. Yeah, that's why we go to movies. I think is because, you know, when we used to have to fight to survive the saber-toothed tiger and shit, it was like you had those instincts. Like every day you were scared for your life. Every day, this is thousands and thousands of years where we were. You know, we were afraid to go hungry, and then you know, we all got together and told stories.
Right.
But we don't do that anymore in a modern world because we're all just so distracted and everything's got to be so damn fast. Yeah. It's like you go into the theater and you all share that story. You all have the same emotions at the same time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like gym for your mind and your soul, you know, because we don't, like, how often I don't laugh every day. I try to. I don't cry every day. Right. You know, I don't get scared for my life every day, but our ancestors did every day. Yeah. And so I think we all have a need and like a hunger for that all the time. And that theater is like the church for all that stuff, you know? Yeah. I was going to say, you know?
Yeah. And it gives you that moment just to escape away from real fucking life for an hour and a half. But
it's a beautiful thing. And I try to have friends over to come over and watch, you know, marathons. I have a screen back there, and any chance that we can get together to watch some trashy, fun movies.
We're watching Samurai Cop.
Yeah, we're watching Samurai Cop before.
I love Samurai Cop.
My nephew's back there. My nephew's back there. Showing him Samurai Cop. He's like, "What is this?"
You got to see Samurai Cop, man. Sit down. So,
I had one of the producers on my show. Was it last year? And I was like, I said, "Oh my goodness, you produced Samurai Cop?" He was like, "You know about that movie?" I was like, "Oh my God, it's one of the greatest bad movies." And I spent 20 minutes just asking about Samurai Cop.
You talked to one of the producers?
Yeah, one of the producers, and he was telling me that the main guy, people think he's dead, but he's alive.
He's alive. That's right. Yeah.
And in part 2, he's definitely wearing a wig. because they weren't planning on doing a part 2, and he cut his hair, and then they come back. That's why in part 2 it looks like he's wearing a bad wig.
Yeah, that's part 1 too. We were just making fun of that.
Sorry about that. The wig. So yeah, it's like.
But see that's what makes it a damn classic. Like, why are we talking about Samurai Cop 30-something years after it's done?
Exactly.
And we're not talking about some big studio action flick that, sucked, that had all of the resources possible
all the big
to make an awesome movie. Yeah,
right.
They got the top people shooting it and directing and producing it, but we're still watching Samurai Cop.
Yeah.
It's because it's such a character, and it's so wonderfully weird, and that could only happen on that indie level.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like watching Birdemic. Like, I love bad movies. Listen, I'm going back to reviewing bad movies, and Birdemic. The Birdemic trilogy is it's bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's good. Like,
see, that's I usually struggle with the word bad, and especially and talking about Screamwalkers too. It was the same thing, because people think it's like, oh, it's one of those good bad movies and stuff, But it's like it can't be a bad movie if you're having so much fun
watching it. Yeah,
like I would say a bad movie is like some rom-com that wasn't funny or romantic, that had all the stars in the world. It's like, that's.
I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm gonna lie. Majority of the time, I'm high when I'm watching these bad movies, but I think that adds to the effect.
It makes it better. Yeah, I mean, it makes everything better. And I put out a movie a few years ago. I put out another shot on video movie, the first one from 1982, called Boarding House. I released it on Blu-ray, and it's a legendary shot on video slasher movie, supernatural slasher, kind of like Screamwalkers. That's kind of where we got the idea to shoot it on video. And that Boarding House is known as like one of the worst bad good movies ever, but it's a struggle to say it's bad, because I love watching it so much. Right. So it's not bad. It's actually great.
A good time.
Yeah. And you just gotta be honest with yourself and say, no, this is a great movie. Right. I don't care if it's a complete disaster. It's great.
I like saying it's so bad that it's good. You know what I mean? Like, a movie can be so bad that it's actually good. Like, you're like, wow. There's some creativity. There's some art. Mm-hmm. There's creativity and art to making a bad movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. To make one that endures, like Birdemic, The Room, or Samurai Cop. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a real personality making those things.
The Room.
Yeah. See,
I love that movie too. I love that movie.
I'm laughing just thinking about it. Yeah.
Now, have you seen Velociraptor?
No.
Oh my goodness! Listen, watch Velociraptor. It is on. I want to say it's on Netflix. I saw it 2 years ago. It is. Listen, you're gonna fucking thank me, and you're gonna be like, Travis, thank you, because you'll be laughing your ass off throughout this whole movie. Right. And they embrace the bad movie side of it.
Right.
They really did. They embrace it all the way through.
That's weird, because that could work either way. In this case, it worked. You're saying, but like Samurai Cop 2, where they knew they were making a bad movie, it's not nearly as fun.
It's not as fun.
Right.
Samurai Cop 1, it works because they try so hard to make a good movie.
Yeah,
it's like no.
But
it's good.
It's great how badly they were trying to make it authentic, and it's just it feels like it's from another planet.
Yeah,
like aliens are trying to make a Lethal Weapon movie here or something.
Or that Turkish movie show, the Star Wars.
Turkish Star Wars. Yeah, we watched Turkish Star Wars.
But I watched a documentary on the Birdemic guy, and he actually made that into a serious movie. He was like, he was trying to make a movie about saving the birds and everything, and he rented a theater, and he gave out free tickets, and people were laughing at his movie, and the whole entire time, and he was like kind of upset.
Yeah.
But then he was like, well, at least I'm getting some kind of response out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, he thought he was making like a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's Tommy Wiseau too. He's like, and then years later, 10 years later, after it's a cult hit, they're like, "Oh, it was always a comedy. What are you talking about?"
Right,
You know?
right.
It's like, hey,
No way.
and then they try to make something that they think the fans are going to laugh at.
And it just
No, it's like do all the mistakes like you did the first time. Then it's
yes,
right.
yes, yes.
Tommy's in Samurai Cop too from The Room. He's in Samurai Cop Part 2.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So he is. That's right. Yeah, yeah. So like the label, the term like bad movie is it's like it's a bit of a it's a bit of a struggle. It's a bit of a kind of like, well, what is your interpretation of bad?
Right.
I would say vanity projects are bad movies for me.
Oh, yeah.
Even some are dumb, but even some of them like Neil Breen and Steven Seagal movies can be fun every once in a while.
Yes,
especially the one in the '80s. I was watching Mark for Death with Steven Seagal. And it's just like over the top. That's when the bad guys, Jamaicans, and they're doing voodoo. It's so over the top.
Right,
it's like,
right,
okay, stop.
I'm talking about his new stuff. That he directs himself.
Yeah, I watched the new
He directs himself. He's big and fat.
Oh.
And he gets to bang a hot chick in every movie and stuff. Like those are the best. I mean, those are bad. Those are bad, but like they're clearly vanity projects.
So you're the one who's watching those.
Yeah, because I'm not watching.
Yes, I'm watching those. I'm not a Steven Seagal fan at all. Like I never watched his earlier stuff, but I watch his new stuff because he has the double chin. He has the painted on hair.
Oh my god, yeah, that he's got.
He's got that painted on hair. It's just a train wreck. Yes, it's a train wreck. And he can barely talk now. He's like.
Yeah, man,
it's great. It's great.
I don't know how you can endure those things, man, but somebody's got to watch it.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
all right, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like when we made Screamwalkers, people were like, "Oh, it's one of those good bad movies," because it looks like. I mean, does this remind you of some other movie?
Yeah,
it might look familiar.
It might.
Yeah, and then people are like, "Oh, you're making a Scream spoof or something, or a scary movie spoof."
Yeah, it's like no,
and it's like I see how it could look like that, like a slasher spoof of the '90s that's shot on a camcorder, but it was never meant to be that. And while we were making it, these guys, the actors, just elevated it. And while you're watching Screamwalkers, it's like, at first you're like, "Oh, this is weird. It's it's lo-fi and it's shot on video." But then as the story progresses and you see the performances and stuff, you're just like, "Oh, this is a legitimate slasher movie that feels like it's from that era." So that was always the point. We're making a new slasher from the '90s now, using the technology from back then.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, Glenn, I'm shooting with you first. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Glenn McBride Jr. You can find me on IMDb, Glenn McBride Jr. You can find me on Instagram, DIR, Glenn Jr. Films, and you can just hit me up, and I'll respond back ASAP. So
awesome. And Sean?
Sean Q King. Sean for SEANQ for Quincy King, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What else is there? Yeah,
I'm not TikTok.
I don't go on there much. Post Screamwalkers shit on there. Yeah, Sean Q King at Sean Q King, and if you want to look for Screamwalkers movie, our Indiegogo campaign is still open. If you want to pre-order a Blu-ray or get some merch. Yeah, some hats and t-shirts and stuff. So Screamwalkers movie at Indiegogo and on Instagram and Facebook.
We have a screening, right? We have a first.
Oh yeah, we do have a screening in New York. We had a test screening a few months ago in Gettysburg. A few months ago.
That's what we met you. Yeah, that's what we met you.
Yeah, feature. Yeah. So we had a test screening there that went really good, and we have our hometown screening at the Long Island International Film Expo. Friday, July 12th. So anybody from New York, Long Island,
come down.
Yeah, go to the Belmore Theater, July 12th, 9 p.m.
Awesome.
That's where we see.
Guys, it's been a pleasure having you on. Listen, I hope to see you guys next year at Creature Feature.
Yeah. We'll be there with Screamwalkers probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, so Glenn loved it. It was his first.
It's my first convention.
First horror convention.
Yeah. So,
they're fun, man. They're fun. That was my first. I go to a lot of horror conventions, but that was my first Creature Feature. I live in Baltimore, so it wasn't even that far a drive either.
Yeah. No, it was cool, man. Such a cool vibe. Great people. Awesome vendors and artists there. Yeah.
And they enjoyed the movie. They really responded well to the movie.
Yeah, the screening went great. Yeah.
I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. All the jokes worked and the
jokes,
scares worked.
All the jokes and everything. So
yeah, it was awesome.
That's always great. That's always great, isn't it?
Yeah, when it works, yeah. And then when it doesn't work, you wait 10 years for it to become a good, bad movie.
So,
all right, everybody. Listen, keep an eye out for Screenworkers, and please follow Sean and Glenn on social media.
thank you so much.
Travis,
All right,
thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Everybody, thank you for coming to the Horror Realm. That's Glenn, that's Sean, and I'm Travis. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.